Can you please look up this site?
See if we can figure out something.
Good morning. Good afternoon for me and everybody in the same time zone. So I am tired. Let's start off with that. What a doozy yesterday was. Like, I sent a message in my family chat and none of them really bothered to, like, they didn't grasp how insane and cool and crazy yesterday's situation was. So if you weren't here yesterday, last night for me, we were busy watching Judge Fleischer, and he popped up in chat and started chatting to us and said, I'm doing a great job of covering his court. Oh my gosh. We all thought at first it was a prank of sorts, but it was him. And he agreed to do an interview. So that's going to be happening at some point. And then also, thank you, Stephen. Basically, Steve N. Sorry. Basically, I scheduled a Judge Simpson video for 12 p.m. Also, I thought. It went out at 12 a.m. my time. And I just want to show you this video has gone insane. Look at this. This video is on 8,000 views, which is 8,000 more than normal. It's gone up in watch time, which means people watched the whole thing. I got 34 subscribers. People watched during the premiere. I wasn't even there because I didn't know it was happening. And so now, like real time, it is still updating. I'm getting comments and comments and comments on that video. So much so that I haven't actually even been able to reply to all of them. And I generally try, like, unless people are being itchy bees, I try to reply to all the comments. My subscriber count, look at this, 806. 2 days ago, I think, not even, I was on 600. So it's been a wild 12 hours. It's been a lot. And now I'm like less than 200. I know it's only 194, but still less than 200 away from monetization. Okay, so first of all, hi everyone. Did I say that already? That was wild. That was wild. I do too, and I try to take that Friday off if it happens. But leave doesn't always allow. I think this is literally like, so obviously when I worked in radio, I met a lot of famous people. You guys might not know them. They are South African, but they are relatively famous. And I don't get easily starstruck, but I was literally like, oh my God, what do I do? And I think it's even more awkward for me just having chat. Like, I don't have anyone to engage with at that point. So I'm just like, what do I do? What do I do with my face? What do I do with my body? What am I doing? What if he's like You shouldn't be doing this. Good morning. Sunday things. It's Friday tea time on Table Mountain. Doesn't matter where you are. Ah, thank you. Yeah, it was a lot. What I've also been doing is I have been gathering together. I've forgotten now. Is it Darrell Brooks or Daryl Brooks? Daryl Brooks, I think. I've been gathering together the court days to watch. And I think I've got all of them now. I skimmed through a bunch, think we'll be good. And I'm thinking that we start that on Monday. Because to start it, I ideally would like... So Recovery Adults will probably be on in about an hour and a half. I think when I start Daryl Brooks, I might need to shift up to an hour behind now, but you can let me know. I still want to try and maintain not to stream at the same time, but it is a lot of content, and we will obviously watch it at 1.25 speed at least, and we will skip all breaks and all of that. But starting on a Monday made more sense to me. Hey, Lisa. Yeah, exactly what you would think we're talking about. Like, oh, I struggled to fall asleep. Mostly because I was so scared of getting in trouble. Like, honestly, I have a serious fear of authority. Like, I don't like being told what to do. But I'm not rebellious. Like, when I was 19, I thought I would be super rebellious and get a nose ring, like way rebellious. And I messaged my mom and I was like, Mom, I got a nose ring. And she's like, oh, why would you do that? Wasn't it sore? And I was like, this is like the most rebellious thing I've ever done. Like, I'm not a rebel. I don't rebel. I have a fear of authority. So I'm like scared of getting in trouble. And so when I saw his name, I was like, oh, I'm in trouble. And then the whole time I was just like, oh, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. But I did eventually like find my groove. Well, I feel like I did. I'm not going to rewatch the video because I don't want to know. It's been a long time since I've had to do anything like that. So yeah, there's that. So I thought we could pop over to Judge Middleton. He is a slow moving court. So I've put it on 1.5 speed, but we can slow it down. I find that that's the best speed to maintain my attention. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. And then obviously if we see the judge go live, oh, I lost a subscriber when I started the stream. That's funny. If we see Judge Fleischer go live, then we'll need to pop over there because we need to like pop in and say thank you for taking a holiday to come and hang out and chat. Mad cool. Okay. I know it might not seem like it because I never watch Judge Middleton on my channel, but I watch a lot of Judge Middleton, like a lot. I have 2 videos I'm busy editing of his, and they are, I want to say 4 hours each. Let's see, Judge Middleton, 6 hours 36, and then 3 hours 35. And then I've got one that's just called, Judge Middleton being funny. And that's just as I'm editing those. Then I'm like taking the clips. Oh, morning, Britta. Morning, Paula. Lilith, I think I said good morning to you. Steve, I said good morning to you. You guys are going to have to excuse me because, yeah, 1, I'm tired. 2, I do kind of feel like I'm getting a cold, but I can't tell. Angie, hey, you missed the update about Daryl Brooks. I've got the playlist, and I think we can start on Monday. Also, look, just look at what is being recommended below this that I'm showing now. So we've got Lawyer You Know. Obviously, I watch Lawyer You Know all the time, so that's not a surprise. It's recommending my own video, most likely because, oh, I lost 2 subscribers. Jeez, guys. What is up with that? Well, I was on 808, now I'm on 806. Can't remember what I was saying. Anyway, let's watch some court.
And had it until 9.
He greets YouTube every single stream.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, July 3rd, first day before the 4th of July holiday. I believe I'm the only judge in residence here in St. Joe County today. We had a couple of arraignments. One was adjourned and one, well, they were both adjourned. So they were called off. We have a number of pretrials that are in process right now, and at least one bench warrant arraignment. I am doing at least three mental commitment hearings today for one of the judges that isn't here, and those won't be live streamed. He doesn't live stream those, and I'll respect that. Anyway, it was a beautiful morning. I rode my bike. I didn't see one soul except 5 or 6 rabbits. Mr. George is here for a pretrial that looks like it isn't going to go. We do have one person here who's ready to proceed. I will be back next Monday with a very busy docket. So let's get started. Thank you all for saying good morning, and I hope everybody has a good holiday where they are. It's supposed to be 88 and sunny here in Michigan for the 4th of July, and that's pretty good. That is if you live at a lake.
How cute is this? He's so
Tim, I'll
wholesome.
take care of this one, and then we'll call Mr. Rainey, and I'll get you on your way. Mr. Marvin's busy. We have at least one person in the lockup. I understand the lockup. All right, thank you. Let's first talk to Theodore James Williams. Mr. Williams, if you come right up to the podium, and I don't think they give an advice of rights to the pretrial people. This isn't in my queue, so give me a minute. Let's find it. Moving kind of slow this morning.
I know that feeling.
Me too. Me too, Judge.
I'm gonna have to find each one of these separately. This is an old case, 221581. People versus Theodore James Williams. Mr. Williams is charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor and furnishing alcohol to a minor. This is alleged to have occurred 2 years ago in July of 2022. Let's take a look at this. The warrant alleges that on or about July 18th of 2022, you did allow someone under 17, a minor, to consume alcoholic beverages. And they're going to dismiss furnishing alcohol to a minor. That one carries up to 60 days in jail to fine of up to $1,000. This is just a plain old 90-day, $100 misdemeanor. Pretty drunk. Let me see why this is 2 years old. He got arrested in 2022. No, he didn't get arrested until June of 24. You did call about the warrant, and we gave you information about it, then you never showed up. And then somehow within the last month or so, you got arrested. How did you come to get arrested on this 2-year-old warrant?
My girlfriend and I got rear-ended in Kalamazoo, and I had warrant out in Van Buren as well for child support.
All right, how long were you in jail?
Just a couple days. It was the day before Juneteenth that I got picked up.
So did you spend time in Van Buren? Did you start in Kalamazoo?
No, it was a portage officer. We just met a Van Buren officer in.
So you went to jail in Pawpaw, and then you came to jail in Centerville?
Yes.
How long were you in Pawpaw?
About a night and a half.
And how long in Centerville?
Just a few hours.
I will call that 2 days. All right, prosecutor indicates they're going to dismiss count 2, furnishing alcohol to a minor, for a plea to count 1, contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Apparently, you and your son were drinking together, got in a fight, and somebody called the police, and he was a .15, and your daughter, or some 14-year-old girl, was also drinking.
Yeah.
So this was not good all the way around.
No.
All right. Do you understand that if you plead to that charge, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury?
Yes.
If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. All you gotta do is ask me. I could appoint an attorney for you. You could hire one of your own choosing. If you had a trial, you'd have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court, so they could be questioned under oath. You would have the right to take the witness stand and testify in your own behalf, but you don't have to, because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, somebody set off the alarm. Which I've been known to do, but I have an alibi this time. I'm in here. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury cannot hold your silence against you, and you have the right to be presumed innocent unless they were able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. What was all this about? Now, you live on Michigan Street, which is different than Michigan Avenue or the rural Michigan Avenue. This is Michigan Street over in Second Ward?
Yeah, right. Just on from Dad's place.
Yes. All right. Well, what was going on here last July of 2022 when you were drinking with your kids?
My son just got stupid and decided he wanted to try and fight me. And I told him it wasn't going to end well for him. He was either going to leave in handcuffs or an ambulance. I didn't fight him.
Well, what was he drinking?
A little bit of everything. We were doing shots.
Oh boy, this was after midnight.
Yeah.
I know a man, he says 2 things. Nothing good happens after midnight, and nothing good happens after shots. So this is an example of both. Were you out in the yard?
We went around the block, and he continuously tried to fight me. So
Where is everybody now?
he's living in Kalamazoo. He's 20 now.
And you still live at that address?
Yes.
Now, you knew there was a warrant. You were just trying to stay under the radar. But you also had a 14-year-old girl drinking alcohol too.
Yeah.
Just a bad plan. Was the child's mother there also
Yeah. He actually saw her a few weeks ago.
on the same thing?
Yeah, she was told that the cop said that I put all the blame on her, and I actually told them that it was all me that night.
I guess I don't remember the details, but I'm going to give you 2 days in jail. Credit 2 days. This is 2 years old. There's a $100 fine and $125 worth of costs. Total is $225. Can you pay that today, or do you need time to pay it?
I need some time to pay that. If I
Can you pay it in 30 days?
Yeah, that shouldn't be an issue.
Well, apparently you haven't been in any trouble in 2 years, but this wasn't a real good plan.
I try to stay out of trouble.
Well, this was a recipe for disaster. He was 2 times the legal limit, and he's 18 years old, probably weighs 150 pounds.
He's a big boy. He's ranking right up there with me now. So
Well, I'm gonna make this due by August 2nd. All right, you're good to go, sir.
thank you.
Take care.
See if Mr. Stickler joined me. No. All right, why don't you bring the guy back in from lockup? We'll take care of Mr. George. Actually, I had more to do than I thought this morning. Good morning, sir. Mr. Foster's here for his 9 o'clock case. Eric Richard Rainey had 2 pretrials, one as a ordinance case and one as a state statute case. Let's see if he's shown up. Morning, Deputy Tyler. Any sign of Eric Rainey? All right, Ms. Conway is here. All right, very good, thanks. Bye. All right, Mr. Rainey is not here. Mr. George will note he didn't show up. We'll see whether we do a show cause or a bench warrant, but I'm not gonna make you stick around here when you got work to do. And maybe I'll see you over the holiday weekend. Good morning, sir. Are you Kelvin Ray Terry?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Terry, you got charged with no insurance under the motor vehicle code. Excuse me, under the insurance code. It's not under the motor vehicle code. Let me find your case also. This is old. This is a 2022 case. You've got a couple other tickets that are unpaid from 2023, a speeding ticket and a registration plate violation. But we're not gonna deal with those right now. You're from South Bend. Let's see how long you've been in jail. 15 days. Got a hold on you. Mr. Terry, this no insurance charge is a misdemeanor. It's a strange one. Carries a minimum fine of $200, maximum fine of $500. And it doesn't require restriction or suspension of your license, but it is punishable by up to a year in jail. Mr. Marvin indicates he would recommend I simply sentence you to time served, which would be 15 days, let you get back to Indiana and deal with your issues there. But you would plead to the charge of driving that day without any insurance. Do you understand?
Absolutely, sir.
Other than that, did anyone promise you anything to get you to plead to this
No, sir.
or threaten you?
No, sir.
Do you understand that if you do plead to this charge, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury? There will be no trial. Do you understand
Yes,
that?
sir.
If you had a trial, you'd have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath. You would have the right to take a witness stand yourself and testify on your own behalf. But you don't have to because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury did not hold your silence against you, and you have the right to be presumed innocent unless the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Were you driving a car on that day here in St. Joe County, April 1st of 2022,
Yes, sir. That's my birthday. I was in Constantine, Michigan.
and you didn't have valid insurance on your car?
I did not.
Where have you been for the last 2 years?
I called up here. I've had the thing in LaGrange, and I was on probation, and I was scared to, I called up here 2 or 3 times to ask how to pay it or how much, and they told me that I couldn't just pay a fine.
Yeah, this is a 1-year misdemeanor. You have to physically be here at court. But I certainly wouldn't have given you 15 days in jail for this, but here we are. So let's get you on your way.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Like I said, I wasn't guilty of it, so everything happens for a reason.
I don't have any bond. All right. 15 days jail credit, 15 days. This carries a mandatory minimum $200 fine. So I'm gonna do a $200 fine, $75 crime victims' rights fee, and a $50 state minimum fee. This was in front of Judge Pattison back years ago. That's $325. So I'm gonna make it due by December 1, 24. You gotta go to LaGrange and take care of your other problems. What are you on probation for?
Possession of mess.
Do you have family down there?
No, sir.
Where are you from originally?
White Pigeon, Michigan. My whole life.
So when you get out, you're gonna come back to Michigan or go back to Indiana?
I hope that they're gonna let me transfer. I asked her, I optioned and told her that I was more than willing to pay the fines and stuff. She told me, Miss Sally Niedemeyer told me that she didn't think that I would receive the help I needed, or she didn't want me to transfer to Michigan, and which really is not a very, because my 16528 address, Leicester is my neighbor, so that would probably help me out in more than one way.
Well, LaGrange County isn't very far away. How did you get picked up on this thing 15 days ago?
I was actually just, and see, that's what doesn't make sense is I'm not been hiding or anything. I've been walking up to the library with my children and walking in public. I haven't been driving,
That's quite common. They'll get a warrant and the warrant just languishes.
but I figured it would have been a long time ago. Like they've been looking for me for, it's been 2 years, so I figured they've been looking for me and I haven't been hiding.
You'd be surprised. Warrants just get set aside and they're worried about things that happen today and they're busy and some stuff like this just gets left behind. And then just happenstance, you get stopped for something and you get arrested.
I was fishing on the Tomahawk Bridge right there on Kalamazoo Street and had been swimming, so instead of taking another dip and diving and running off, I sat there
You
and
went to
waited for them to come and get me.
You ever fish off the Tallahatchie Bridge?
No, sir.
All right, you're good to go, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, good luck with your issues in LaGrange. But when you get out, you're gonna have to deal with this $325 fine. Plus you got a couple tickets from 23 that are unpaid, but we'll deal with those.
If I can pay them by credit card or by debit card, I can have my father come up there and pay with my credit card or my debit
All
card.
right, tell them to come on up.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thanks. All right, it's time for sentencing on Mr. Jared Foster. Mr. Foster, will you come forward? Why don't you come over here and have a seat?
So we're on 1.5 speed, by the way. This is 1.5.
This is file number 24626ST, People versus Jared Foster. Mr. Foster was charged with failing to report an accident on April 13th
Hilarious name, misconduct.
under section 257622. Oh my God, what is this? he pled guilty after a pretrial to that charge, and I asked to get the police report and gave him a notice that he's here. This was a pretty bad accident. It happened very early in the morning. Misty from the prosecutor's office, thank you to her, she got the police report for me. You're lucky to kill yourself. I have a suspicious nature that this was a drinking driving case that got away, but you broke your leg, you went to the hospital, you told the people at the hospital you fell down the steps, and the police came and talked to you and your girlfriend, and you got this citation. So you suffered an injury, which I'm glad wasn't fatal. And I can't guess that maybe you were drinking. They didn't have any indication of anything from the hospital. You were working night shift at Vicksburg High School?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. How are you doing with the injury to your leg?
It's starting to heal pretty decent. I start physical therapy on the 8th.
Are you back to work?
No.
You did get your driver's license back.
Yeah.
You had some baggage on there and you didn't have it for a while, but you were valid at the time this happened. I don't know if you fell asleep or what happened or why you didn't tell the people at the hospital the truth. I don't think they believed you. But I can't speculate as to what happened. This is just a failing to report an accident. You were seriously injured, you went to the hospital. The police came. It's punishable by a fine of $100 is the maximum. There's $75 crime victims' rights fee and a $50 state minimum fee. They didn't have any information. Even if you had been drinking, let's say that you had some alcohol to drink, they have a hard time proving that. So I'm just not even going to consider it, Mr. Foster. I'm just going to give you a fine of $100 plus the state minimum cost of $125, which would be $225. Do you need time to pay that, or can you pay it today?
If you could give me like a month or so. I
Yes,
can-
we usually do 30 days. I am glad you're back to work, and I'm glad that you can walk. Well, did this total your car?
Yeah.
What was it?
It was a Kia and it was my fiance's car.
That's right. They found her and they knew she wasn't driving because she's short and you're tall. And let's make that due by August 2nd. Did you get a different car?
Yep.
All right. This will go on your driving record. It does not carry an automatic suspension.
Okay.
All right. You got 30 days to pay that $225. If you need more time, contact the court. You're good to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Just about the teenager thing. I'm not saying it's right at all. I don't condone it. But my parents kind of always had the attitude of like, if you're going to try something, do it at home. Lucky for them, I didn't want to try until 18, which is the legal limit here, really. And I guess lucky for me, I didn't start earlier because then I would have spiraled earlier and then I would have landed up in binge drinking alcoholism earlier. But anyway, that could potentially be like, just do it at home. Yeah. So, maybe he also didn't even know about the 14-year-old. Because there actually was when my sister turned 18, my parents let her have a party and I was sneaking drinks. That should have been a clear indication, right? Oh, thank you, misconduct. AKA Amy. Had to change it. Too many Amy's. I never meet people with the name Vicky or Victoria, but in the law community, there are so many Victorias. There's Vicky's with I and Y's in Lawyer You Know's chat. There's Victorias in court, which either go by Victoria or Tory. There's Victorias that are lawyers. Popular name.
All right. Good luck. I'm glad you're still here to talk about it.
Thank
All right. Judgment. I'm going to dial up a guy from the jail. All right, let's keep going here. Like I said, we had more to do than I thought. Good morning, Deputy Broker. Judge Middleton calling. Could I see Ed Washington? Oh, he wasn't. He was. No, let's just wait till this afternoon. I'm sorry to hear that. He'd been sober for a number of years.
I know zero. Well, I know
Oh,
one.
gee whiz. I'll try again this afternoon. All right, thank you. Bye. Apparently, Mr. Washington was at a .32 when he got arrested last night. I'm sorry to hear that. He had been sober for a long time. All right, we'll deal with him
Oh,
later. My Polycom's not in any shape to get this seen right now, so we'll wait till later. Do you know what is up with Miss Conway?
She's still talking with Dave. Your
Okay.
probation agreement is here.
Well, might as well do him, as long as I'm here. That is,
His last name's West.
yes,
I'm the same,
James,
sir.
not James T. West, James William West. Autumn, we're gonna go ahead and do this 9:30 probation arraignment if you wish to come up. Mr. West, would you come over here and have a seat? Good morning, sir.
Morning.
You're a little early and that's okay. We've been discussing a lot of people this morning that are struggling with alcohol. You're in that category.
This can be better.
All right, well, that's all we can hope for. This is file 23382 FY, People versus James William West. Mr. West was placed on probation. He was charged with operating while intoxicated, fleeing and eluding a police officer, and resisting obstructing. He pled to operating while intoxicated and attempted resisting obstructing. He was placed on probation, and Autumn Kiefer was his supervising probation agent. We'll get the details of that here in just a minute. He was sentenced on June 5th of 2023. 2 days credit, 2 days on the R&O charge, and 11 days credit 2, leaving 9 days to serve plus 2 weekends. So there's 5 days that is left in that original sentence. 5 days were deferred. Autumn Kiefer filed a probation violation petition. I'll read that to you. The petition alleges that you were placed on probation on June 5th on the charge of operating while intoxicated, and you failed to abstain from the use of drugs and alcohol. In the status report, she lists many positive tests. You went into a rehab facility in February, discharged in March, and then we sort of lost track of you. You stopped your treatment, and then you've relapsed. So Autumn is alleging that you violated your probation by continuing to use alcohol. She's recommending we simply revoke the probation and impose the 5 days that were deferred. And she's joined us. She's here on the screen with us now. Mr. West, you do have a right to have a hearing on this matter. Right now, this is an allegation that you violated your probation. And that allegation has to be proven beyond a preponderance of the evidence at a hearing before a judge, namely me. You would have a right to have a lawyer with you. And if you want, all you got to do is tell me. I'll set this for a hearing and appoint an attorney to represent you. If you don't want, you can simply admit the violation. And the recommendation is that I discharge you from probation after you serve 5 days that were deferred. Would you like me to appoint a lawyer for you and set a hearing, or you simply want to admit to this?
I don't really want to lose my job. I just got it and working 6 days a week, 10-hour days,
I don't really want you to lose your job either. Where are you working?
land tax, human service.
I suppose the days could be served on your days off, weekend sort of thing.
Okay.
But I don't want to threaten you or promise you. I mean, what I'm likely to follow her recommendation. I don't want you to lose your job, but I would discharge you from probation, and you would do 5 days in jail to be scheduled by the probation department. Are you working tomorrow?
No, we actually have tomorrow.
Are you working Friday?
Yes.
All right. What would you like to do, Mr. West? If you want me to appoint a lawyer to help you with this, I can do that. I won't be offended by that. Or you can simply admit, and I will follow the recommendation.
I'll admit I did it.
Or anybody threaten you to get you to plead to that?
No.
Promise you anything?
Mhm.
You seem like an intelligent guy. I remember you from the sentencing. This is another case where you've got a serious substance abuse disorder. You've tried to deal with it. You have been to treatment, but then when you got out of treatment, you didn't really follow up with community mental health or our pivotal. And I'm not sure what you're doing now. Autumn, what's your input here?
Well, Mr. West has constantly had contact with me. The issue was he was continuing to relapse and he wasn't being sanctioned for it. He had been to rehab again in June over in Detroit, but hadn't told me until he was there and then left. So it just kind of seemed a little, I wasn't so sure that he was being totally honest with me. He wants to be off probation. However, I know he needs the help, but he still needs to be sanctioned for all of these positive tests. So I'll leave it up to the court as to what you'd like to do in this case. If he stays on, he's going to be on for a whole nother year, and I'm going to continue the testing.
And that's expensive. He's gone to rehab twice. He's otherwise been compliant. If it was easy, my caseload would go down about 80% if people just say, well, I don't want to drink anymore. But it's hard. You went to 2 different rehabs, and you're right. You've tested positive a bunch of times, and there's never been any sanction. I don't know if this is just letting you go over the waterfall, but I'm going to revoke your probation. I left those 5 days hanging over your head on purpose. You understand you're waiving the right to a hearing and an attorney.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to order 5 days jail, credit 0, leaving 5 days to serve, which will be scheduled by the probation department. And is there any fine due and owing?
No, the remaining would be wiped out. There's remaining 687 that should be cleared.
All right. All right. I'm going to send you down to the probation department right now. We'll schedule these days one at a time. One might be tomorrow. And get it over with. I'm off your back. I want you to continue to do what you're trying to do. I'd like you to stay plugged in with Pivotal. You need to be in a support group. Otherwise, I'm going to see you before Labor Day. You're going to get arrested again. And that's not a very pleasant prospect. But I'm off your back for better or worse. You go downstairs, check in with Autumn, and I wish you luck. And I hope I don't see you before Labor Day.
Yeah, I just got one. I just found out I'm gonna be a dad yesterday.
Well, there's a reason to get sober right there.
Yes, there is.
That's one of the big reasons I do sobriety court, is to help people be better parents, better employees, better neighbors, better sons and daughters. So you got all the more reason to get it together. So good for you. I hope you can do it. All right, you're good to go. Autumn?
Yep.
I was trying to arraign Ed Washington on his old failure to pay case, and I was sorry to hear that he was a 3-2 when he booked into the jail. So I can't see him till maybe this afternoon.
Okay.
I'm going to let him out because it's just a money thing, but I don't want to deal with him when he's like that. I'm sorry, because he had been sober for a long time.
Yes,
I'm
he had.
sorry, he's relapsed. And I don't wish any ill for Mr. West. Hopefully he can get his life in order, but I'm not sure another year of probation is going to solve his problem.
All right, I will schedule the jail. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Evie, I'm so glad you have a solution though, because tinnitus is like tinnitus and ADHD combo. I can only imagine.
All right. Hopefully she's going to tell me what's going on with Miss Conway. I have another sentence at 11. I have an emergency commitment hearing at 10:15, 1:15, 1:30, and then at some time this afternoon I'll see that bench warrant.
That's a really interesting way to treat tinnitus though.
Morning.
Really interesting.
I'm live on everything.
Okay. Are you going into another hearing?
Well, I was hoping Michelle was going to tell me what's going on with Elizabeth Conway.
Okay.
It should be just about 5 minutes. Either I'll be going in or I won't.
Yeah, I just wanted to basically about 11 o'clock.
Okay, I didn't see it until this morning. Tough case.
There's a police report in Indiana too.
I saw that yesterday.
All right.
Not good. Not good at all. All right, thanks. I'll see you in a bit. Would you ask Michelle to step in?
Yeah.
Just a reminder, there's a lot of us in sobriety here.
Is he still talking with Miss Conway or are they
Yes,
done?
sir.
All right, I'll wait a minute.
So I don't mind talking alcohol levels like when it relates to
Okay,
court,
thanks.
but we just need to be wary of the line between like what's triggering for people in sobriety and what's not. Like we never think, basically, we never think it's cool to drink.
Probably she's gonna get an attorney.
And I don't like, I just want to say, I don't mind if you guys drink and whatnot. I'm just wary, like if you go back a few days,
She has 3 separate retail frauds.
if you go back a few days, I had a
Walmart.
little
Merchant.
rant about how triggering it can be when people are like we're not oblivious to the fact that alcohol's fun, because that's how most of us landed up having to be sober. It was too fun. But that it's not fun to have the reminder of how fun it is, basically. If anyone can put it in a better way, please do, because I'm already not braining very well today.
March 18th. Ms. Conway's gonna get a lawyer?
Yes,
Okay.
she's got 3 open, and
Yeah,
then
she does. She also owes a bunch of, she got $1,200 worth of unpaid stuff.
Well, we've got, the last one didn't show, and I think there's a county and a
Yeah,
village.
that would be Mr. Rainey.
Yeah.
So
So
send
that
that
is
in.
it, and I got some in custody, so I'm on my way.
All right, thanks for your help.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ms. Conway's got several issues. She was also wanted in Oakland County. All right, she's gonna get a lawyer, so we won't be doing that. We do have a sentence at 11. I'm gonna be doing some things in between that will not be live streamed, but I'll be busy for a while yet this morning. So everyone, I will see you at 11. Everybody.
There's another one. This is 11. What I wanted to say is, Lilith, I'm trying to find this trial to potentially do for a members only live, just so that I can kind of rein in any comments. But there was a groundbreaking sentencing relating to a trans person who was attacked. I just had it this morning and I can't find it. It was a case just wrapped up. I was trying to find the actual court file, the court videos of it, but I can't. And I don't see it in my history. Was I watching it on a different channel? I mean, a different thing? Oh my gosh, I need to get this checked out. I'm so sensitive to noise. It is painful.
Good morning once again to all our instant bloggers. You guys are so fast.
Instant bloggers, I think you said. I wear these.
Well, I've been off the record. We've had a number of other things come up, so I've been busy.
How about I just finish talking and then show? I wear, because I only have 15 minutes till lunch is over. I wear these Jabra, which are supposedly the most noise cancelling in the world. They don't work noise cancelling fully for me. So then with them in, I put these, which are Soundcore, which are also allegedly full noise cancelling. I put them over the top and I can still hear things. And on a bad day, like especially when it's the Lucifer phase of the month, which if you don't know, 2 weeks before, when some people in the luteal phase have worse symptoms 2 weeks before their period. Anyway, when I'm in my Lucifer phase, like if somebody opens a packet, you can actually see physically how much just thinking about it like hurts me. It actually, like, noise, sound hurts. And I just watch other people not having that same feeling. And I'm like, I don't get how you do it. I didn't know that noise shouldn't be painful. Renee, that's so weird. I'm going to try and put, I wonder if, do you know what? There is a slight chance that these little peoples have removed my ability to have memberships because I haven't been able to send them my ID. Overview, members, supers, connect, get started. There should be a link in my description. I hope. Yes, there's a link in the description. Okay. So you should be able to get it from there. I'd rather not watch it. No worries. I thought it might interest you for the sake of it being a groundbreaking court ruling and actually a little bit of progress in the world for once. I'm so sorry that that's what you're going through, and please never feel like you need to share anything here, but we are here to support you. And frankly, if anyone here is not going to support you, then they don't match the vibe of the channel, because I am an ally. Oh my gosh, seriously, our neighbor's dog is a tiny little dog that barks all the time. That high pitch, and it actually, I can't not listen to it. Like, everything stops and I just listen to it and I'm like, this is painful. Other people don't seem to mind as much. I go to my mom's house, a dog barks away, and I'm like, why is that so loud? And she's like, I didn't even hear anything. Hey, Court with Chrissy. Yay, Renee! So Renee is one of the original when there were about 3 people watching a day. Sometimes only 3, but I am very stoked that you are here and that I have members. Like, what? Mind blowing. Okay, I have about 13 minutes before I go back to work. Oh yeah, Psychosaurus Rex. I didn't know you joined here. That's awesome. We have so much to discuss. However, I need to be careful. I mentioned a thing. No, wait. Let me not get into it. There's nothing scandalous. It's just to protect myself. I mentioned a thing about a parent in a different stream, and I don't want that coming up here. Maybe down the line I'll say, but for now I just want safe space.
And we've got several more hearings today, which will not be live streamed, but things are coming in. This is 11 a.m. It's the time and date for sentencing in the matter of People versus Lewis. Kane Paschal is here with his lawyer, Casey Strong. The record here on the live stream. This is the only matter set for sentencing this morning. It's a difficult case. Mr. Paschal was arrested on February 29th for operating while intoxicated with a high blood alcohol level. He was pulled over. Actually, he was asleep in the Marathon gas station with a very high blood alcohol level. He was arraigned. Find my notes. April 9th. Yes, pled not guilty. And my recommendation, appointed an attorney, set up for pretrial for May 3rd. That day, or the very next day, the defendant got arrested again in DeKalb County, Indiana, with a troubling set of facts for operating while intoxicated and having a gun in the car. And that case is still pending in DeKalb County, and they are watching this proceeding to figure out what they're going to do. Mr. Matthew Huff is here, and he's prepared the screening report. I know he put a lot of time and thought into this because he's been working on it. We've had a couple of intermediate discussions between time of plea and now. Ms. Strong, what would you like me to know here?
Thank you, Your Honor. First, I would thank Mr. Huff for putting together this report and considering my client for probation. There are a couple of notes I would like to make in regard to the report. There was a substance abuse assessment done through Pivotal that has been provided to Mr. Huff.
I was inquiring about it. I haven't seen it.
And my client has been participating in AA meetings very frequently since the beginning of this case. I have no expectation that he would not be a good probation.
Define
candidate.
participating.
And I'll let him speak with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I started going to AA twice a week. I've gone to Celebrate Recovery a few times. I ordered the books for AA online. I've been reading those at home. But yeah, I've been participating in the AA program.
Which AA?
I go to the one in Three Rivers at the Carver Center, and then the one right here across the street on Thursdays.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Strong.
And Your Honor, in speaking to a note that Mr. Huff makes on the last page of the report, this is a first drunk driving offense. While he does have one pending in another county, I would ask the court, while we are at the time of sentencing, he has not been found guilty of that offense. He has not been proved guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in front of a jury of his peers. I believe that it flies in the face of the presumption of innocence to really weigh that in determining a sentence here.
Well,
Well-
you're right, he hasn't been convicted, but he got arrested for drunk driving the morning after he was here in my court, which certainly indicates there's a significant issue.
And that drunk driving in Indiana, that he disclosed that to me at the onset of the case, I disclosed that to the prosecutor immediately upon finding out about it. And this plea deal was made above board with that information being known to the prosecutor's office. And the predication for an impaired was because my client he started a business when he was 24, and that business supports his family. It employs multiple family members. He is in charge of that, and he's been operating it for a substantial amount of time. And I would be concerned that a 30-day jail sentence he would lose that business or have a significant impact on that business. He would lapse in being able to support his family. And what sentencing consideration does that 30-day jail sentence serve other than just punishing the offender? If we were to put him on a term of probation, as the court is aware, there's a much more significant chunk of jail hanging over his head for probation violations. He has criminal history well in the past, and it seems as if he would be a good candidate, in my opinion, for probation, because it would give him both the opportunity to continue with his AA and continue with his sobriety with that chunk of jail hanging over his head, rather than just to sentence him to 30 days in jail, cut him loose, and not give him any of that support that a probation term would allow.
We have some concerns about the logistics of him being on probation. Now, this was a gift from heaven to get a impaired driving plea. Impaired will allow you to keep a restricted driver's license. Your blood alcohol was about 4 times the legal limit, and you got arrested for drunk driving the very next day. And the prosecutor knew all that and still gave you the gift of an impaired driving. So you will have the ability to drive to and from work in the course of employment, treatment, school, other things. My concern is most of your work is in the Indianapolis area, and you're gone during the week. And the ability to do treatment and testing under that sort of circumstance is a concern. Secondly, Indiana may drop the hammer on you. They were not aware of this. They are now. They have not charged you with being a felon in possession of a firearm. And I got the impression that they're going to. But that's outside my purview. As your lawyer indicated, that happened after this, and you have not been convicted of it, but it's looming in the background. One concern, and I'll let you speak, and Matt has some of the same concerns. Lucas has endorsed that his outcomes for treatment are whatever my lawyer needs. Based on the assessment, it's recommended that Lucas engage in substance abuse treatment services. However, the client declined this level of care at this time. He wants to wait until after the court cases are completed to engage in services, in which case maybe I ought to just put you in jail and then you can do it when you get out. So you don't really want to do services, but you don't really want to do jail. So you got your toe in the water, but you're not swimming. What would you like me to know?
Well, first, the reason that me and the substance abuse evaluation people, I didn't know if there was going to be court recommended treatment out there, since I was already doing 2 Alcohol Anonymous a week. I didn't know what they were going to recommend. And I mean, I still have to have time to do everything else that I do in life. So I thought 2 at the time was 2 a week was probably sufficient, until you guys told me that I needed to do more, or the outcome. The other thing is me traveling back and forth to Indianapolis. I only go when I'm needed, and then I do everything else from my computer and home, but I don't go every single week, and I don't go all week.
Tell me about this company. What does it do?
It's a residential remodel company.
All right. Who, and it's mostly in Marion County, Indiana?
Yes.
And do you have a sales team, or how do you get your customers?
It's all word of mouth. We've done so much over the years. We don't even advertise or anything anymore. We just get phone call after phone call.
And how many people are on your crew?
3 right now, sometimes more. When I was living there, I had 2 crews running, but since I moved here, my older brother has taken over, and it's been extremely stressful to get him to get everything in order right and get it done in a timely manner. I did get my license here to be a builder. And as of right now, I'm trying to get.
Well, why are you here rather than there?
My father-in-law gave me a piece of property to build a home on the lake. So me and my wife decided to get the kids out of the big city and build a house here. And I let my brother start to run my company there. And I was going to start another small company here. And we just basically wanted to get out of the big city and move next to our parents.
Well, have any quarrel with that. This is a great place to raise your kids. But trying to manage a hands-on construction company from 300 miles away, that's how it works very well. So what do you do on the computer?
I do estimates. My brother will go to the meetings, take notes and everything. I do all of the estimates. I take care of all of the like payments to like lumber companies, credit cards, things like that. I write checks and send them out. The most of the time that I go down there is when there's something that my brother doesn't know how to do yet. So that was part of my drinking because it got so stressful with my wife being disabled and him not knowing exactly what to do when I first moved. And it was stressful because I had to keep going back and forth like constantly. And I don't know, I finally just like started making him do more on his own. So I've actually been able to stay here at longer periods of time. But yeah, I mean, it was extremely stressful there for a lot of reasons, not just the work, but that was the main one.
Well, all right, I don't know. I can imagine it's stressful. He may feel like he doesn't need you. He's doing all the work. You're up here writing checks. I don't know how you're splitting up the proceeds. But I could believe that it's probably a source for family discord. Now, the night this happened, you and your wife got in a fight. You were going to go stay in a motel. And you were so drunk at 5 o'clock in the afternoon or 4:25 that you passed out at the gas pump. So you didn't materialize there. You had to drive there from somewhere, which I assume was Pleasant Lake. And then you had to go back out onto 131 and drive through that Frogger lanes and do a Michigan turn and come back up. You were dangerous. And in fact, your blood alcohol was so high, they had to take you to the hospital. If your blood alcohol is over 0.32, they have to take you to the hospital. And the hospital cleared you to go to jail. But even 2 hours after the incident, your blood alcohol was still very high. So we were trying to determine what it is that you drank. You said it was Voodoo Ranger beers. That's an awful lot of beer to get to a 3.6 blood alcohol level. Did you have something else?
Well, I started drinking early in the day and they're 11% alcohol and I was drinking the 16-ounce beers. I was asked what I remember the best, how many I drank. I remember drinking a few before at 11 o'clock and I remember drinking a couple at the gas station. And when I got off the phone with the probation officer the other day, my wife was in the car and we were going to the park and she stopped me after I got off the phone. She was like, you had the time incorrect that you were at the gas station and you had the amount of beers you drank because when you woke up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that's when we started arguing and you drank more beers. So I don't know exactly how many beers I drank.
But it was all beers.
It was all beers.
All right. And you drink Voodoo Ranger because it has a high alcohol content.
That's why I was drinking it. So it looked to my wife like I was drinking less cans.
And is that where I was really going? Is that what the argument was about?
It was.
I'm sure it's very stressful for her and your kids.
It was.
So, and you still got this other matter hanging over your head. I know Luke put a lot of thought into this and he's struggling with how sincere you are about the need for treatment, or you just want to do it because you don't want to go to jail, and was going to give you a big giant wake up call. Because what could happen is you could just go to jail for mow lawns all summer, county jail. Mr. Huff, what's your thought here?
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, obviously, this is a very difficult situation. The court's familiar with my recommendations, which are typically for a period of probation, especially in cases where I think we've got a severe substance use disorder. The state's made it clear that that's the purpose of probation, is for rehabilitation and only for rehabilitation. The only thing that eventually steered me off to making a different recommendation that I typically do is that hesitance to simply, I shouldn't say simply, because it's not simple to admit that there's a substance use disorder. I'm sure it's a very difficult thing, but to really take that bull by the horn, so to speak. I didn't get that sense. Now, granted, I only meet with defendants for an hour. I don't get their whole life story. I don't get to know them all that well. I realized that Mr. Pascal is a real person. He's a real father. He's obviously a successful business owner, and he's responsible for providing the livelihood for his family. However, it's concerning when you're 4.5 times the legal limit at 5:45 at night, and then you're on bond. I guess I would also concur with Ms. Strong that, yeah, you shouldn't be treated as if he has a second OWI offense. He's been convicted of that. But it's certainly relevant that while on bond, he's still doing the same thing, if that's drinking and driving or just drinking. But being a 0.16 at 9 o'clock in the morning is worth considering, even if it's not.
Now, that was 2 months after this. So this was February 28th and the Indiana incident was in April.
April 10th, yeah.
So a month and a half later.
Yeah.
So things were still not good. After this arrest, you bonded out, still stressed with your family?
Yeah, and then the arrest here stressed me out some more, but I had stopped drinking for about a month, and then I got some news about my family, and that's the reason I drove to Indianapolis that day. And anyway, yeah, on my way back, I got a hotel and I got pulled over the next morning.
Well, and again, your lawyer points out you didn't get convicted of that, but the facts are troubling. You're going almost 90 miles an hour, It's like you just don't care at that point. Right the next day after I saw you. So when did you have your last drink? In Indianapolis, in DeKalb County?
Correct. Well, the night before, early morning.
I'm sorry, Mr. Huff. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Oh, I was just going to finish by saying,
I've got to dive into focusing. So the one problem I'm kind of running into with local trials is there's a lot of translation and we all struggle with translation. So there's some that there's not, but like there was a really interesting trial called the Krugersdorp murder trial. And my Afrikaans is not strong enough to be able to fill in any gaps. So it's a little tricky, but I'm going to keep looking. If anyone comes across like great playlists of South African trials that you would like me to do a rewatch of, let me know. Because after Daryl Brooks, we'll hop into something local. Okay, I'm going to mute and focus and leave this running for a bit.
by saying that, my recommendation wasn't made lightly. It's considering all four of the sentencing factors, including protection of society. Obviously, punishment of offenders is an important one as well, but deterrent of others, I think, is very important as well. And there's a message that's sent in these sentencing hearings when something like this takes place. If somebody else is watching, does this dissuade them from behaving in the same fashion? So ultimately, that's why I ended up going with that recommendation. Like I said, it's very difficult. I recognize that Mr. Pascal's a real person. This has a real outcome on his life. I hesitated to make that recommendation for probation, given the factors listed in the report, especially not knowing exactly how well he'd be able to participate in a very intensive probation, which is what would have been prescribed as an alternative. And that's all I have to offer.
You make several insightful comments here. It appears that Mr. Paschal has a severe substance abuse disorder. I don't need to be a substance abuse counselor to come to that conclusion. The high level of the blood alcohol content and the subsequent arrest the day after he was here. Mr. Paschal is allegedly attending AA when he can. It appears that Mr. Paschal does not fully grasp the severity of this situation. And considering the sentencing factors, I do believe there is potential for rehabilitation in this case. However, there are several limiting factors which negatively impact the achievement of that goal. Mr. Paschal has not acknowledged his alcohol problem. He also indicates he regularly travels back and forth to Indianapolis for employment. With a substance abuse disorder this serious, regular drug and alcohol testing is vital. It is unclear if Mr. Paschal would be able to fully participate, even if he was open to this idea. So your recommendation was a straight jail sentence and then let DeKalb deal with him. I'm not sure. Do you have a lawyer in Indiana?
Public defender.
Okay. And what's your next proceeding down there?
It's in September.
But nobody wants to go to jail. And he does have a substance abuse disorder, and he's going to live here. And he's going to have kids here, and he's going to have a family here. His father-in-law's been here with him every time. So he has people that are looking out for him. So I can just give him jail and let him get drunk the day he gets out. So I'm going to try a combination of this. This all could be undermined by what Indiana is going to do. If Indiana charges you with being a felon in possession of a firearm, you can put prison in Indiana. And I don't know what they've got in mind. You're not presently charged with that. But I'm going to try to keep you sober. I'm going to do a 12-month probation. I'm going to sentence you to 35 days jail, credit 1, leaving 34 days to serve. Of the 35 days, 30 are deferred. You've got 4 days to do.
Would the court consider those to be scheduled?
No, he gets to do the 4th of July weekend in the St. Joe County Jail. I want to get his attention. And the fine is $0. This takes money away from his family. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee. Cut the screening fee in half. The attorney fee is $150. And there's $480 probation oversight fee. Was there a police reimbursement?
It was not listed in the police report.
And usually the prosecutor would give us that, and they're not here. There was a blood draw. It's a sheriff's department case. We'll do $125 police reimbursement to the sheriff's department.
Your Honor, I believe it was the Three Rivers, the city of Three Rivers.
Was it? Nathan Ritchie is a Three Rivers officer. I guess it wasn't under city ordinance because it was high blood alcohol level. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, just $125 in costs that go with everything. Screening fee is $50, $480. Oversight fee, which could actually cut in half, and $125. This could be amended if they put you on probation. You don't live down in DeKalb County. It's sort of in between here and there. So I'm not sure what is going to come of that. I don't have any bond. We're going to do the alcohol highway, the victim impact panel, substance abuse counseling and treatment as directed, alcohol and drug testing. No drugs and no alcohol. And I want you to continue AA or support group. I'll try a probation and hang some jail over your head. You've also earned some. While everybody else is out celebrating the 4th of July, you're going to have 4 days to think about this. When you get out next week, I want you to come see Mr. Huff at the probation department. You want to see him now or when he gets out of jail?
It'll be intake when he gets out of jail.
All right, next Monday when you get out. You'll go, today's Wednesday, Wednesday to Thursday, Thursday to Friday, Saturday to Sunday. You'll get out Sunday. And I want you to come in and see Mr. Huff on Monday. All right, you're good to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What charge do you want this under, sir?
Impaired driving.
30 days deferred.
Thank you.
4 days.
All right, that's it for the morning. It may be it for the day. We have other matters that we will be addressing, but all right, we're back for what I hope is one last hearing. Tried to do this morning. Hello, Colleen. And I'm told the defendant is awake. I've done a number of hearings since we last logged in off the record. So we're going to do this. We're going to try to get through the afternoon without any more bad stuff happening. And then try to enjoy the holiday weekend. Hello to Russia with love. The lights flickered here momentarily. I've been in the court with no windows. Hope it's not storming like it is all over the place. I hope everyone has a good weekend. Russia to California. I'm gonna have a house full of small children. All right, as soon as Mr. Stickley joins us, we'll bring this defendant in.
Does anyone know if Recovery Addict's streaming today?
Mr. Washington, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Mr. Middleton?
I'm doing good. I'll be with you in just a moment as soon as the public defender gets here. So I'll put you in the waiting room.
Okay.
All right, that's promising. This is a bench warrant arraignment in the matter of People versus Edwin Washington. The file number is 122869FH. It's 12 years old. It may be one of the oldest ongoing cases that I have in an attempt to collect $8,830 of restitution that was ordered by the Crime Victims' Rights Statute. We're still trying to collect this. And the complainant calls all the time, as recently as February, inquiring about his money. Mr. Ed Washington is here. He's Edwin Washington. He's in custody at the jail. He has paid the debt down from $8,830 to $2,625. We get wage assignments set up. You leave your job or lose your job, and the wage assignment stops. So I set a hearing to have you come in and find out what's going on, and you don't show up for the hearing. So I set a second hearing called a show cause to show cause why you didn't show up for the hearing. And I had a 48-hour hold. The last time I did one of these was August 3rd of 2023. And you heard about it and you called in on August 7th that said you were going to come in and pay or do a wage assignment, and you didn't. So on August 14th of last year, this bench warrant issued, and it's been outstanding ever since. So how did you get arrested last night?
I was with my daughter and I walked down to Sparky's and they pulled up on me and brought me in here.
At what town?
Three Rivers.
Where's Sparky's?
Sherry Sparks.
Okay. All right. I was trying my best not to arrest you again, but you just went under the radar.
They done this, Mr. Middleton. They cut the top of my finger off and I couldn't do the trailer factory no more. Dr. Gerson done this at Kalamazoo. I asked that.
Well, are you working right now?
No, sir. I'm just trying to get my, I guess it's disability because they cut my finger off at Kalamazoo. They cut the top of it off. I had a staph infection in it.
When was that?
Like 7 months ago, 8 months.
That was at work?
Yeah, I got it. It happened when I was at Ox Paperboard in White Visit.
Did you get workers' comp?
That's what I'm working on. It's taking a long time to give it to me because it happened at work. I got the staph infection there. I just wasn't able to use my hands the way I wanted to.
Well, Ox Paperboard pays well. If the wage assignment had been in place, we'd have this thing already done with.
I came in. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I came into court. I went in the courtroom today. The last time I seen you in court, I went in there and I had just started back working, and she told me that she wouldn't do a wage assignment for me until she seen I worked for 3 months.
Well, that was the thing. We kept doing wage assignments and then they'd fail because you left. Wage assignment or not, we still got to get this thing paid. Now, they said that you were quite intoxicated this morning. I was sorry to hear that. Are you sober enough now to understand everything we're discussing? You seem pretty clear-headed.
And Your Honor, that I'm aware of, I don't think that there are any other pending charges. I don't know if they were waiting for an authorization on something from him or if this is it. But
Well,
I didn't have him on my arraignment.
I was told that he didn't have any other charges. Or if he had other charges, I wasn't told. Well, my intention is to let you out of jail, but we need to start getting payment on this again. I'll be dead before this. I only got 2.5 more years, Mr. Washington. We got to get this paid off.
Yes, sir.
But putting you in jail don't get it paid.
Huh?
Leaving you in jail doesn't do anything to get this debt paid.
I'm gonna make sure I get it done.
All right, contempt. FTA for order to show cause. This warrant has been out since last August. So you stayed under the radar for a year. You were working during some of that time, making probably $25 an hour. 1 day credit, 1 day. If you get a lump sum workers' comp payment, maybe you can pay this off all at once.
Okay.
Where are you living?
Well, right now, Mr. Middleton, I ain't got no, I've been in my mom's old house, but I've been by myself. It's been kind of rough on me.
Oh, so you're staying at your mom's?
Yeah, her house. I sleep in her room. It's just been rough on me.
All right. And what street is that on?
It's right there it's right by the Sitco gas station. I can't call it like Wilbur Road. It's Wilbur.
Wilbur Road. All right, well, I'm gonna let you out of jail, but I want you to stop over here at the court. Or either that, or can you make a $25 per month payment?
Yes, sir.
That's not very much, but it'll start to nip away at it.
Okay.
2,625. Payment is due August 1. We'll make it $50 per month. Will somebody come pick you up?
If they let me use the phone when I get out, if not, walk that way towards.
Somebody will pick you up. I mean,
There's a
they'll
poll.
use the phone. Probably nobody remembers any phone numbers. They're all in their phone. All right, 1 day credit, 1 day for contempt for failing to appear for the original hearing and then failing to appear for the show cause. Calling to try to make a payment and then never making a payment. You did a good job in my program. I was very proud of how you did and how you turned your life around, but you've struggled and you've relapsed, and I'd like to see you get back in healthier living, but leaving you in jail doesn't do anything to get this debt paid. All right, Mr. Washington, you're going to be released. I was going to do this morning, but you were asleep, so I took another shot at it here at 2 o'clock. And I want you to start to make that payment, $50 per month, starting August 1st, or we'll be having this discussion again soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, you're good to go.
Thanks, Mr. Moon.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Stickley.
Have a great Independence Day, Joe. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Here's the thing. I have a call and focus time this afternoon. So I don't know when to pop into. Let me just check my calendar. At 3, so 45 minutes from now. So I have a DUI in Judge Wolfe that I can put on. Alternatively, I have the cross-examination, or I have a local one that is not you. Who are you? What is your name again? Ruder, Jason Ruder. But I don't have the full thing yet. What I do have is the accused on the stand. So that was the local option. And then we have pathologists, cross-examination, cross-examination. But that's kind of like bits and pieces, and I can't really. Oh, hello, Winchester. Come here. The people want to see you. This little cat, if you look on the side here. Oh, wait, other side, baby. Can you see there's a little bit of blue tint there? There. She jumped into a painting of mine. And I had to try to get the paint off. Oh, the people just want to see you. Boop the floor. Boop. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, go back there. Oh, did you actually want to be on my lap? Yeah, you can be on my lap. She is so beautiful. Oh, okay. Vaughn must have his door closed. She literally never sits by me, ever. Oh, I don't have space. I'm sorry. Okay. Let me check the poll. Oh, we have a draw. We have a draw, guys. And the draw is between. Oh, Lilith. Wait, I can't pull that up. Why is it not coming up? Thank you very much. Oh, Evie, I get this all the time, you know. They just call me Vicky Cute Pussy. YouTube, don't think that's weird. I've got a cat on my lap. Okay. We have a tiebreaker between part of a South African trial and quick US trial. So you have a couple of seconds to vote. Because I need to focus. Da, 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 da. Oh, you don't like my singing. Sorry. I was on a video call with my niece this morning. She's like not quite 2 yet. Not quite 2, like 1 and 2 months. And the phone was on this side and she was shy. And then she picked it up and moved it to that side. And all of a sudden, like personality came out. It was so cute. How can I have you on the camera though? I need to somehow tilt the camera. Oh, I think she's cold. How am I going to grab this camera? Okay, have we voted? Okay, quick US trial. I'm ending the poll before it ties again. Quick US trial it is. So now we need to listen. Yeah, I don't think YouTube would have a problem with that at all. Not at all. I'll even label it that. Also, for those who are new here, one of my first videos I did relating to court was, as a journalist, why I hate gag orders. Subsequently, one of the top search terms I come up for is gagging. What? 813? I think this cam needs to be a thing. Yep. It's you. You need to just be on a live stream all day. Where did I put it though? Okay, I need to see if this is if this is the start of it.
As I said, feel free to sit wherever you're comfortable.
Just listening. Oh, fascinating. There's no one here.
Is charged in counts 1.
Okay, I'm going back to this before we have spoilers. Wait, I need to put this back to the beginning. Sorry. Everyone block your ears. Okay, ready.
As I said, feel free to sit wherever you're comfortable. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may be seated. I apologize for a little bit late start. We've been dealing with docketing issues on the case, trying to move our docket overall forward, so I appreciate your patience. All right, we're ready now for the state to present its proof. So, John McLeod, you may call your first witness.
Oh, bear with me a minute. That's what I thought, Sarah. It's supposed to be. No, Sergeant Davis, could you state your full name for us, please?
Yes, ma'am. Levi Morgan Davis.
And where are you currently employed?
Dixon City Police Department.
All right. And how long have you worked there?
10 years this August.
And where did you go to the academy?
Toledo in Nashville.
Okay. Do you recall how long of a program that was?
Then it was 10 weeks.
All right. Do you recall where you were on, I guess it would have been the early morning of September 26th of the year 2020?
Yes, sir.
Where were you?
At work at Dixon Police Department.
Okay. How did you come into contact with Mr. Taylor initially?
We received a call from one of the local residents there that there was a truck parked outside their home that had been there for some time.
Oh,
So dispatch put it out. They didn't give exact minute numbers, how long it's been there, but they've been there for some time and they were worried about it. It was a suspicious vehicle.
Okay. Did you have a working body cam at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know if it was on that night?
Yes, ma'am.
And if I were to show you a portion of that video, would you be able to identify it for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think if I recall correctly, the video monitors that are in the jury box are not currently working correctly with the video screen here. So is that correct? We never did get that fixed. All right, so we're not able to show you on the screen there. You'll have to watch the screen here.
And Judge, there may be a couple of times when I have to unplug this because there's a portion of the video that I need to redact, so you're aware. Because I can't see the timing of the video on the screen when I have it plugged in. Now, when you received this call, were you provided with an address or a location where the Mr. Taylor would have been?
This is the caller's address dispatch. It'll pop up on their screen. So they just sent me to that general area of that address.
Do you recall where that was?
203 Hillview Street.
Okay. Is that a street in Dixon County?
Yes, ma'am. Dixon City specifically.
Okay, the city of Dixon,
Yes, ma'am.
here in Tennessee. Is she Dixon?
Yeah, the one we're trying, yeah, check the source on that.
When he finishes with this, we're going to ask Officer Howell to explain to us how you can set a time on a VCR where you can record and watch it play at the same time. I never got that down. So. Ready? This is probably been the last.
Okay, do you recognize that video?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that from your body cam from that
Yes,
night?
showing out with Tennessee, Robert 7-9, 2-4 young. Right, feel free to- Hey. What's wrong with this first time? All right? I'll sit here. Why? Well, I see that, but I mean, do you live over here or? My family lives here. Where? What address do you know? Sitting here. All right, how much have you had drinks on? I didn't go nowhere. I didn't ask you anywhere. I asked how much you've had drinks on. I watched the ball. I ain't going nowhere. Well, the problem is you're sitting with your truck running in the middle of the road, 4 o'clock in the morning. You have neighbors calling in on you. I would just stop calling. People calling in on you. They're worried. All right. So I need time to make sure you're safe to be driving. I don't go nowhere. Hey, but this truck's gonna have to move off the road when I ain't moving it. So I got the time to make sure you're gonna be driving. When I got here, still running on the road. So I don't know nowhere. I'm driving nowhere. It's staying still. How much have you had drinking on? I drink. I got beer here. Yeah. But I don't driving nowhere. I'm staying home. Well, you're not sitting at home. You're literally asleep while your truck's running in the middle of the road. I mean, am I wrong? You got a car. You have any weapons on you, anything like that? I do. This one. Okay, I appreciate you. Is it in your console? Yeah, everything's on. All right, you might know what's in there. Is it in here? Here, I'll let you find it. Oh, it's sorry. Everything else. All right. 140, so I got one room when you're ready. Here you go, I'll put that back in the truck for you. I didn't know. All right, let's make a. You want to hang out right there at the family phone, okay? Only 40 cents. I got one to run. Tennessee is 073 782 252. So. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I'm not mad at it. It overshot it a little bit. It seems like. So you got family over here? No, okay. You have any habits other than that? You're just like the drones, the news, the weapons, all here. So we're talking about some things, pretty much all in the same. I'm not talking. You need to be right up there a little bit. I mean, you need to do a few things right tests to make sure that you're supposed to be right. Okay, I'm so far. I'm so far. Well, yeah, no, I agree. I'm sorry. I don't know. You know, you have any more time in we should get through. Like the family on the job, the questions and all that. Okay, how much do you think you got done? You had here. Yeah. I've had some beers, but when was your first meeting? When was your last one? How many hours? Probably been first to last, all within the same hour. She's probably been 2-3 hours ago, like I would say. But what do you generally do for work? I work at TVA. You work at TVA? All right, what specifically for? I'm an assistant unit operator. I want to see. What was that there? 10 years, man. And I actually, I've been out for 2 weeks. I'm telling him, I'm sorry, apologize. I had to be out of work because I fell out of, I fell on the didn't break it hard. I haven't been back to work in 3 weeks. And what's injured? Good on you, 2 plus 3 weeks. All right, I'm serious. All right, well, let's do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, so that you understand, portions of videos taken on the scene oftentimes include information that would not be relevant and would not be admissible under our rules of evidence. So as a means of trying to avoid something that's shown to you that wouldn't be otherwise admissible, not everything that happens on the scene is admissible in court. So for that reason, we're allowing the state to fast forward through to a certain point and pick it up.
I'm gonna show you, it's gonna look just like this, all right? Starting with your right foot in front of your left. Don't start rotating, start with your right foot in front of your left, it's gonna look just like this, right? We're gonna take 9 heel toe steps. We're gonna count each step out loud with our hands out our side. We're not gonna stop the test at any time. After the 9th step, what you're gonna do is take a series of small steps, turn around, and 9 heel toe steps back, okay? So just like that, I'm gonna show you, it's gonna look just like this, all right? Starting with your right foot in front of your left. Don't start rotating, starting with your right foot in front of your left, it's gonna look just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. On the 9th step, you'll take a series of small steps, turn around, and then 9 back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So just to recap, starting with your right foot, heel turn, put your hands at your side, you'll take 9 heel turn steps, count each step out loud. You will not stop the test once you started. Once you reach your 9th step, you'll turn around, take a series of small steps, turn around, and 9 steps back. Do you understand? 1, 2, 3, 4. Use on for the eyes. 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't want to turn back around. That's hard, man. Even if, I mean, seriously, come on.
Okay, Sergeant Davis, can you describe what that test is?
Yes, ma'am. That's the 9-step walk and turn. Basically, it's just a divided attention test. So you're given multiple different tasks to do, all kind of in the succession of one another. And the idea behind it and the testing that's gone into it has proven that most, not all, there are statistical outliers, but most sober people can do that test without issue. And on the converse, most impaired people will end up showing clue of intoxication during that by way of either stepping off line, missing a heel or toe, not turning the way they're supposed to. They can't keep their balance. They start too soon. They stop the test. There's actually 8 clues within that I'm looking for.
Okay, and what clues did you notice from Mr. Taylor?
So in that one, during the instruction phase,
It appears that the witness is reading from a document that he's looking down as if he's reading from a document.
Well, I would say you can't read from the document, and you can use it to refresh your memory, but you can't read
Yes.
from the document.
That's all it is, looking at my
projector, first of all. Also, if you would hand that document to the bailiff.
Sure.
The reason that I do that is that when you testify, you must testify from your memory. If your memory doesn't allow you to remember something, then we have a method by which you can refresh your memory, but you can't just read from the document.
Probably later on.
Sorry, Judge, I
State the
didn't
objection on behalf.
I didn't realize that he was reading from it. Just tell me what you remember from that night, okay?
Instruction phase, he couldn't keep balance. Then best of my memory, he made an improper turn, used arms for balance, and I believe he stepped off line as well. Those 4.
Okay.
out of the 8.
So you notice 4 out of the 8 indicators.
Yes, ma'am.
What I need you to do, you're gonna stand with your feet together, just like mine, and set your side, just like mine. You're gonna look in that position, so okay, otherwise. All right, get it, I'm gonna explain this to you.
You want it on the record or off? Guess we haven't recorded anyways. Gentleman McLeod, you may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Demonstrate and then give you a chance to do it yourself, all right? What I need you to do, I told you, is with 1 foot off the ground, approximately 6 inches. I'm gonna use my right, because that's what I'm gonna about, and not you, you might have to tell you to. So you look at that, so we have a thing that's inclusion now, like, and this is, then you begin to count by 1,000s, 1,011, 1,002, 1,003, and so on. What's that? Pay attention to this as a going through. I don't do much that really. Used to that. Hey, I used to do this thing, I would just make his foot top. Hey. How we doing here? Oh, man, you know, this is pretty serious for you. You might want to put more on. You ready to pay attention? Okay. Keep your hands like that. Down my side. One thing at the ground, approximately 6 inches. Towards the ground. While looking at the total, we'll begin to count at 1,000, 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, until I tell you to stop. Do not stop counting until I tell you to stop, okay? All right. Are you running? Do you understand the instruction? Up it up. Yeah. Need you count for me? 1,001, 1,002, 1,030. I ain't hear what's in here. Come on. I'm trying. I don't know how to do that. I don't know. Did I miss it? Sorry, Marty. All right, turn it. Are you arresting me because I paid? No, I'm arresting you because you're DUI. Well, please don't. They don't.
Sergeant Davis, can you describe what that test is?
Yes, ma'am. So same thing, divided attention test, just a different type of divided attention test, but still is multiple tasks to try to do it at one given time. So during that test, there's 4 possible clues of impairment, in which case in this specific test, he displayed all 4 clues. He put his foot down during the test before we tell him to stop. He used his arms for balance. He swayed and he hopped.
Okay.
Additional indicators that aren't clues, but are indicators is that he also forgot to count.
Well, I guess you should have drove home then, huh? Please, uncle. Please, Alan, please, Alan. We're going to change nothing you can say that will change the board. You push it back for your, throw after me. Please, Alan. Please, Alan. I'm not sure you know that nothing I can do to change it. I hate that something like you being with the job, but I haven't had control over that. So where's that? Just so I'm so down. I'm so down. I didn't know that. I had to drive a little bit. I said, please, I don't know, please. Can you try to help me? You want to do for me? Sir, I will lose my job. Sure, you might have to go free and that's something, so I can't do nothing for you. Please, after I still can. So after I still can, if I let you go, get some new job in. I just want to be. And your job is, okay, I just want to go home. You should go home. If you hit somebody, now it's not safe. So how did you get the driving? You're securing you in the driver's seat. You was there when I put it in the driver's seat with the keys in the ignition. I turned around, sir. I don't have to know. Sir, you could have killed somebody. You could have killed yourself. Sir, I just want to go home. You go home and you burn out. Please, sir. Please, sir. I'm not trying to bother anybody. I just want to go home. That's good. We'll go past himself. I'm just over the right there. I mean, I've told you everything. You've been honest with me for the most part. It's a change before for action. No. To do. Everybody, that's the ball. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. You can just take him down there. I'll get a tow truck for this. Yeah. If we can get him down here, I can get my seat cleaned out when I get back here and I can transport it. What else? Appreciate you. I'll be down there in just a minute. Soon as. Gotta be. I mean, he's got the rubber containers. Yeah. Very constricted. Stu, did you grab his driver's license? Yeah. That boy going. Yeah. All boys. Okay. Will you call the next city schedule class D for the pickup truck, please? Where you going? And if you will, flag a handgun that's been found in the truck, have a signal to run ready. Make is a 6 hour. Serial number is going to be 52 Edward 071190. Everything. Oh man.
Sergeant Davis, I have a few questions for you after watching that. You searched the vehicle there at the end of the video. That's what you were doing, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And where did you find the firearm?
It's in the middle console.
Is that where Mr. Taylor said it would be?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it loaded?
Yes, ma'am.
Were there any containers in the vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Any containers containing alcohol or that would have contained alcohol?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall how many?
3 or 4, I believe.
When you came on scene and we did see video in your body cam, I'm going to ask you, was there anyone with Mr. Taylor in his vehicle?
No, ma'am.
Was he by himself?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Taylor told you that he had been drinking, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you saw the video. Did he indicate how long ago he had been drinking?
I believe he said that at most he had 2 beers, and that was all within the same hour. And that was approximately 3 hours prior to my contact with him. Was his words.
Did Mr. Taylor ever tell you where he'd been?
He mentioned something about watching football somewhere, but I don't know. He never mentioned where that was.
Okay. And I believe he made a statement, and I'm going to ask you for clarification. did Mr. Taylor indicate to you that he thought he was at home?
I remember him saying something about he was either at his mom's house or trying to go to his mom's house, and then he referenced the address that was just a couple streets over, I believe. I can't remember if he actually said he was there or not.
Okay. Now, what happened after you arrested Mr. Taylor? What did you do next?
Inventory the vehicle per usual. We confiscated the pistol. I confiscated the pistol as evidence. Secured that in my vehicle, and then later at the police department through our evidence process. Tow truck come pick up the vehicle. If I remember correctly, another car pulls up, another patrol car. I get my inventory done, and that slip to that patrol officer so that he can sit there and wait on the tow truck, so that I can go ahead and head down to PD and start on the paperwork.
Okay. And when you say paperwork, what do you mean?
Sorry, arrest paperwork. So fill out the affidavit, the warrants, the implied consent form, and subsequently the search warrant for blood.
Okay. And did you read the implied consent form to Mr. Taylor?
Yes, ma'am.
Sergeant Davis, can you tell me what that form is?
Yes, so in the state of Tennessee, when you get your driver's license, you agree, it's called implied consent. If you were arrested for DUI, it's you saying that you will give a blood or breath sample. Doesn't mean you have to. If you choose not to, that's fine, but then you will be charged for violation of implied consent, because that's kind of the expectation if you're going to be driving on the road, is that you're not impaired. So all this is explaining is that I am asking for a breath and or blood sample. It explains that you don't, the defendant doesn't have to give it, but if they don't give it, it explains the consequences of it, which is if convicted, up or 1 up to 5 years without a license and ignition interlock and some other stuff that goes in. But at the end, there's 2 spots where you can either sign to consent to give it willfully, or you can refuse consent.
And did Mr. Taylor consent or refuse to give consent?
He refused consent.
Okay. And is that box checked?
Yes, ma'am, and signed.
And he signed it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, I would move to enter the implied consent form as exhibit number 1. And so after Mr. Taylor consented, or he refused to give consent, which he has the right to do, did you go take out a warrant for that blood?
Yes, ma'am. I obtained a search warrant, a 7-page search warrant, and then had a magistrate sign said search warrant after reading it and served it that same night.
Okay. And where did you take Mr. Taylor to have the blood drawn?
Horizon Medical Center.
And were you present the entire time? And was Mr. Taylor present with you the whole time?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Are you going to show any more video?
No, Your Honor.
I'm just going to turn the lights back up so that
Oh, yeah.
we can stay awake.
Sorry.
Sorry.
So you said you took him to Horizon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And his blood was drawn there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what did you do with the blood once you had drawn it? Or once it was drawn, rather?
Once it was drawn, it's secured in 2 different packages. First, there's 2 vials of blood that go into, it's like a bubble wrap sealant, like a little Ziploc bubble wrap. It goes in there, and then that goes inside a little square box about that big. That gets sealed, and then it was secured in my car until I was able to transport the gentleman to the Dix County Jail. And then when I got back, before I went home, I secured that inside my office, inside a lockbox that only I have a key to. That way, the following night that I come to work, I can put that in there.
And no one else had access to the box?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And did you fill out an alcohol toxicology request form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you do that every time you send a blood sample to the TBI?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Bill McLeod, I know you gave a copy of that video to the clerk. Have you asked for it to be made an exhibit?
No, I was going to do that after I talked.
That's fine.
Just so I
I
don't.
want to make sure I didn't miss it.
Yes, Your Honor, I'll wait. Sergeant Davis, is that the form that you filled out, alcohol toxicology form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is that your handwriting on that form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you enclose that form with the box with the blood before you gave it to the evidence custodian?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then, sorry, it seems like it's really loud. The evidence custodian would have been the one to take that to the TBI.
Correct.
And do you know how often the evidence custodian does that?
Unfortunately, I don't. Our CID, there's, I believe, 2 different detectives that handle evidence, but I have no idea what their schedule is or how any of that part works. That's out of my scope.
Okay. But when you turned it in, bag was sealed, that request form was in there
Yes,
and it was secured.
Correct.
Okay. Your Honor, I move to enter that toxicology request form as exhibit number 2. And at this time, I would move to enter the video of the stop as exhibit number 3.
Exhibit 3 will be the video.
And you did testify a minute ago about the different clues that Mr. Taylor showed while performing the test. But overall, how would you describe his demeanor that night?
Inattentive. He seemed to be impaired on something. His pupils were very constricted. He couldn't hold his attention span very long for things. I had to re-explain stuff. He just seems generally impaired.
Okay. And the magistrate signed warrants for his arrest for DUI and implied consent?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you and the charge of?
Your Honor, object, may we approach the bench?
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, the defendant in this case is charged with 3 counts. The first count of driving under the influence. The second is what we call per se violation, where he's charged with the second count of being in violation of the 0.08. His blood alcohol level is alleged to have been above 0.08 and therefore under the influence. The third count is in possession of a handgun while under the influence. He is not charged with violation of implied consent. Violation of implied consent is not an actual criminal charge. It's a civil statute that we deal with. So please disregard any reference to the implied consent charge that might have been just testified to, because there is no actual criminal charge for violation of implied consent law.
So you had the warrants taken out, and at that time he was arrested and booked into the Dixon County Jail.
Yes, ma'am. Well, first warrants taken out, and then I had to stop by the hospital and get the blood drawn. Then after he was released from the hospital, Joe was next stop.
Okay, and you were present for the blood draw?
Yes, ma'am.
And you saw the blood leave his arm and go into the vial?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions right now.
All right. You may cross examine, Mr. Belmont.
Thank you, Your Honor. No approach the witness, Your Honor. You recognize that, right?
Yes, sir.
And is that bear your signature?
Is that whose?
Is that bear your signature on there, or just Mr. Robinson?
That's just Mr. Robinson's, it looks like.
And that's
Not mine.
That's the inventory of the search. So you didn't sign the inventory of the search.
Okay.
Mr. Robinson did. Correct.
Here, so yes, sir.
I mean, Sergeant Davis, we'll back up for just a moment. On direct, you testified that Mr. Taylor was at 203 Hillview Street.
Yes.
Hillview Street is just off Hensley Drive across from Karen's, is it not?
No, we have a couple of Hillviews. I might have said Hillview Street or then Hillview Road. Or,
Hillview Drive
okay.
is over by Luther Lake, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it would have been Hillview Drive, not Hillview Street.
That'd be correct. Yes.
Right, so if you said Hillview Street, that's just a mistake about street versus drive.
Yes, sir.
But we're all talking about the same places, right over beside Luther Lake.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Taylor told you over and over during your interaction with him that he wasn't going anywhere, right? He told you that almost from the time you started talking to him, and if we were to watch your whole interactions all night, he told you that all night long.
Yes, sir.
And everything was cordial between you and Mr. Taylor all night, correct?
Yes, sir.
Between Mr. Taylor and other officers.
Yes, sir.
Even they were having a big time talking about the office outside the police station.
He was one of the most pleasant individuals I've ever had to arrest.
And you even said that during the ER, you told Mr. Taylor that. You said, you know, you're one of the nicest people I've ever had to deal with.
Yes, sir.
And even when he refused to consent, he wasn't worried about it. He just said, I'm not going to consent, but you're going to do what you've got to do.
Correct.
So he told you over and over, like I said, that he was not trying to go anywhere. You said that on direct that he was a couple of streets over, but Hillview Drive and Lakeview Drive intersect, do they not?
I really couldn't know. I thought it was a couple of streets over. They might have been closer.
203 Hillview Drive is at the intersection of Hillview Drive and Lakeview Drive.
Okay, so he was right at it.
Is that correct? Do you know?
I really don't. We don't get calls out in that area much often. It's a very quiet neighborhood, so I'm not extremely proficient with those streets.
Operator, Your Honor.
You may.
We're looking at Hillview and Lake Valley or Lake Circle. Either way, they're right there. Is
Yeah, so you've got an intersection there of Hillview Drive to the north, you've got Crestview Drive, and then to the south of Hillview Drive, you got Lake Valley Drive.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And 203 Hillview Drive is right on that corner of Hillview and Crestview, right?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
Operator, Your Honor.
You may.
I've got cities of pictures. I just go back and forth.
You may.
That photograph, can you see a stop sign there with an intersection on it?
Yes, sir.
And does that appear to be Hillview Drive?
Yes, sir. The according to the road sign, the one perpendicular to where the picture shot has to be Hillview.
And that house in the background there, is that 203 Hillview Drive?
Possibly, if it's hard to tell because again, we're not in that area often. If that is, then I suppose this would have happened on the backside of this hill here. But I can't say for sure because we're not through there very often.
Just north of that intersection.
I suppose so.
Okay. In that photo, can you see a straight sign and it says both Hillview, either Crestview or Lake Valley? It's kind of hard to make. I apologize about the size.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does that appear to be the same intersection as the other photo that I've shown you there?
Judging by the offset to the street, yes. I mean, the houses are different. There's different vehicles in it, but yeah, I can see the same Air Force sign. So yes.
Got another angle there that shows the sign a little bit better.
Yes, sir.
So that's what we're getting at on the map. I mean, that's an intersection right there, what we look at on the map. It's Crestview Drive running east and west, and then Hillview running east and west, Lake Valley running south, and Crestview running north.
Correct, sir.
Okay. And you see two houses in those two pictures they're most clearly contained in those pictures, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you know whether the brick house, the red brick house, that you can't see the cars in the driveway, do you know that if that's Hillview Drive, 203 Hillview Drive?
Ooh, those corner houses are hard to tell unless if there's a number right out front. I wouldn't be able to tell you if that would be on Hillview or if that would be on Lake Valley. Not without driving out there.
And now the house with the blue truck and the golf cart in the road, can you tell whether or not that's 115 Lake Valley Road there?
I can't see the number, but I would at least, common sense would say that probably has at least a Lake Valley address because not only is the driveway off Lake Valley, which doesn't always mean it, but the mailbox and you can see the little marker where the number should be is on Lake Valley as well. So I would think that's a Lake Valley address, but I can't quite make out the number on it.
And in fact, if that's 115 Lake Valley Road and that's 203 Hillview Drive, they're directly across the street from each other.
Okay.
Right? I mean, can you tell that from the photos?
Appears so, yes, sir.
Now, if you look at those photos, those appear to be different angles at the same intersection. If you look at the curves, they should.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'd ask that those exhibits be marked as a collective exhibit.
Any objection? Mark as collective exhibit 4. Exhibit 4 collective.
You testified, Terry, correct, that you are a sergeant with the police department. What division are you in?
Patrol.
Patrol. Yes, sir. And just want to go through some questions about this particular location. Mr. Taylor wasn't parked on a sidewalk, was he?
No, sir.
He wasn't parked in front of a public or private driveway.
No, sir, not my recollection.
He wasn't parked within 15 feet of an intersection.
No, sir.
He wasn't parked within 15 feet of a fire hydrant.
Don't believe so, no, sir.
He wasn't parked within a crosswalk. He wasn't parked within 50 feet of a railroad crossing.
No, sir.
Wasn't parked within 25 feet of a fire station.
No, sir.
Wasn't alongside or opposite any street excavation or obstruction when traffic would be obstructed.
No, sir.
He wasn't parked on the roadway side of any vehicle stopped or parked at the edge of curb or the edge of a street. What that's getting at is double stacked, right? You can have one parking double outside.
Correct.
Okay. Or on a bridge.
No, sir.
Or along a yellow or red curb.
No, sir.
There weren't any no parking signs there.
Correct.
And so you did an inventory of the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
You brought a document today that was your inventory that said that there were 3 open containers and 2 unopened containers of beer in the truck. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And we saw the one beer container in the console during the video. And did that container, I mean, was it a 24-ounce can or 16-ounce can? What a 12-ounce can, was it?
Oh, gosh, I'd have to look at the video again. I really don't know.
Okay. And Mr. Taylor told you several times that he wasn't going anywhere, that his family lived right there. And then during the video, he told you he was staying at his mom's house because he had been injured, right?
I don't know if he was staying there because he had been injured, but he did tell me that he was trying to get to his mom's house or been staying at his mom's house, and then also told me he had been injured. I can't remember I don't think he correlated the two.
Fair enough, fair enough. But during the video, he told you, been staying at mom's house.
Yes, sir.
What does DUI stand for?
Be driving under the influence.
Now, you didn't see Mr. Taylor drive his vehicle there and park it.
No, sir.
And you got a call from a complainant that a suspicious vehicle had been sitting outside.
Yes, sir.
And so, I mean, obviously, Mr. Taylor didn't just pull up there and stop. I mean, somebody would have called in over that in common sense. I mean, we wasn't there 2 minutes.
I don't know how long he was there.
Right. I mean, but there was a period of time from the time you were dispatched until you arrived. right?
Yeah, well, yeah, he was there at least that long.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't know how long he was there.
Sure.
Could have been hours.
Could have been.
And we also don't know when Mr. Taylor consumed the alcohol. That
All
was
we had
another-
is what he attested to out on the street.
Sure. And he'd been
Okay, friends, time to send you over to Recovery Addict. I'm on 818 subscribers. Yes, exactly. I will see you guys later, potentially, maybe not. I do want to have a very chilled evening. Let's go. RA is going in super quick today. Thank you for hanging out. Bye.